first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
What's going on, y'all? It's Nathan back with another video presentation. I hope you guys are all well. Had a great weekend. Had a great Monday. Hope everybody's staying safe. Again, I do apologize for my mood. Making this video, the Orioles lost again. And it's hurtful. I'm going to talk about them. But all seriousness, I do apologize. I did subsequently get a video out to y'all this yesterday or Saturday. I was thinking about doing just a video talking about the WNBA. I was kind of like, kind of was contemplating should I not do it. A couple things I'm going to talk about tonight. I got a surprise topic that was recommended to me by a few people, and then we're going to talk about the Baltimore Orioles, the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to get into that. Washington football team made some moves. The Washington Mystics blew a 21-point lead against the Las Vegas Aces. The WNBA is back. Some more NBA news. Washington Wizards football. Washington Wizards Summer League updates, and anything around the NFL that's been going on. I'm trying to follow, get as much news as I can. But before we get into that, let me start the video by saying I want to give my sincere thoughts and prayers and condolences to the family of Rich Milot, former Washington football player, drafted in 1979, 7th round, 6'4", spent 9 seasons with Washington, appeared in all 3 Super Bowls with the team. And of course, I looked up his career. He played 121 games, started 91 of those games, and credited with 20 and a half sacks, 13 interceptions. Former quarterback and teammate Mark Rippon on their Twitter said, quote, "Great man, great teammate, and a great player. My thoughts and prayers to his family and close friends. I've always enjoyed my time visiting with Rich, whether at an alumni event or at the Mickey Still Golf Tournament. You will be missed, my friend." So, again, just thoughts and prayers. Fun fact, I actually had looked up the 1984 playoff game against the Bears. Charles Mann, my notes here, Wilbur Marshall, Fred Stokes had 3 sacks in the playoff game for Washington, but Rich had 3.5. So that's still the club's postseason record. So, again, I just wanted to give my thoughts and prayers out to Rich and Rich's family. Your eyes don't deceive you. I have made a few videos on topics like this. I mean, I think by now pretty much everyone knows the situation that's going on between PJ Washington and Brittany Renner. Let me preface my comments by saying this. I think I like to know where the values in today's culture when it comes to seeking a relationship and dating. I'm really not understanding today's choices that we make when it comes to dating. PJ Washington had the scouting report. I mean, we are all aware of Brittany's past. Little Uzi Vert, Colin Kaepernick, Drake, Tiger, Chris Brown, Trey Songz. We're all aware of that. PJ Washington, come on, man. Like, red flags. Red flags are there. And let me just say this. I think it's to me a little uncomfortable. Not little. It is uncomfortable because I think he was 18 when he was at the University of Kentucky, and she would go to the games. If this was roles reversed, everybody would have an issue with that. Now, example, I'm 26, okay, and if I went to the University of Maryland or University of Kentucky or University of Duke, and I paid attention to an 18-year-old woman on the women's basketball team, I'm getting flagged for that. Like, Ken, what's good, bro? I just think that the values are twisted. She's 29 and he's 22. Like, I understand, and I kind of now get what LeVar Ball was saying, particularly about with his sons. You know, look, you're young, you just got to the league, focus on basketball, and then focus on settling down. But it's not just athletes, that's anybody. Go to school, get your education, travel the world, focus on yourself before settling down. Now look at PJ, now 22 with a son, then it has to pay $200,000 according to what I've seen for the next 18 years. That's $43 million that has to come out of his pocket. Now, I think what's really, really uncomfortable, and I think what's really what's uncomfortable is that why? That's my question. Bro, that don't add up to it. No, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to me at all. I feel like that's just a rumor started by social media. I don't think it's $200,000, but I think it's really weird that the tweets that he's been putting out, I just want to see my son and different things like that. Those are red flags to me, and that needs to be called out. Because if she just, we could all say we want, oh, they've been together back and forth, all this other stuff. That's their business, but I just don't think it's right. But I don't think it's fair that you had a baby and you split up with the guy, and now he can't see him. What do you gain from that? And then on top of that, if this is true, which I doubt it is, because he came out and said on a tweet, said stop the cat, because he's making, I want to say it's a little over $4 million for this year, his contract. So he would be left with like $1.8 million. Yeah, this year he made $4 million. I don't know. I'm really disgusted by that, because I made videos on women like her. They really get under my skin, because we know their past. We know that what they do. They trap these guys. I think it's disgusting that people will do anything and everything in their power to get money, attention, all that. And her writing that book, basically putting all her encounters, like the guys I just named. Now she talked about she plans on writing another book. When she makes a video talking about, if you want to look for money, excuse my language, but she said, fucking athlete. They're dumb because they're dumb. That's not, but see, what the thing is, once that's on social media, you can never erase it. But my thing is, again, that the $200,000 thing doesn't add up. I said the same thing with Future. The women that had been in Future, I said the same thing. The red flags were there with him because, if you think about it, let's do his lyrics, people, misogynist. Sierra. Now Eliza Rain, I think that's her name. And now look at PJ Washington. Yeah, he'll be okay, but I'm pretty sure now he's got to have his guard up. I don't see them getting back together. I don't. Because I just don't. And let me back up. Let me clear this up. Not all women are like this. They're not. It's the some that I'm talking about, those like her, Eliza Rain, multiple ones. So these Instagram, social media influencers, they're the ones that go that just. I just shake my head and I go, wow. Because again, I just, like, for example, right? Dwight Howard, he was with Tia Cooper. He will be 37 this year. She just turned 24. Nobody had a problem with that. Well, some people did because hey, Lucinda, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Thank you. I appreciate you. I just think that the values, I just, and regardless of what's going, she's going to find another man just like him and do the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Nothing's going to change. But I really hope it's not $2 million, $200,000. I really hope it's not. But the warning signs were there. And I can't say that I don't feel bad for him, because I do feel bad in some way. Hello, Rock Just Living. Good to see you. Hey, what's going on? But listen, if you yes, thank you. If you put me in a room with Brittany Renner and there's a box of epic stuffed crust pizza from Papa John's and a bottle of Mountain Dew, 10 out of 10 times I'm going with the epic stuffed crust pizza and the Mountain Dew. I just am, because it's women like her that just don't really have, that just don't value themselves, and they just, to me, in my personal opinion, use guys. They just suck them up like venom and then just spit them out and go to the next one. And that ain't right. Because him coming out with all these tweets and stuff like that, I like the fact that he wants to, he's willing to be in his life, the son's life. Because unfortunately, I said the same thing about Dylan Brooks, NBA ball player. He's dating like an Instagram model, and kind of said the same thing where, he's a deadbeat, because the narrative will get flipped. Unfortunately, there are guys, and it's fine, and it's not just men, women too, that get the narrative flipped, that they're not involved in the child's life and all the other things like that. I applaud him for wanting to be in the child's life. I give him credit for that. But I just feel like she finessed him in a sense. I believe she did. But I'm going to get away from that topic. I'm going to transition into some sports. I really hope that they do what's best for the sake of the child, because that's the one that's going to be really who's affected growing up. Because unfortunately, let's call it what it is. There's both sides try to manipulate and saying, oh, he's not this or she's not that. They don't care about you. And in reality, like, child support or no child support, you should do your part to make sure that you'll love and take care of that child. Plain and simple. The Baltimore Orioles are hot trash. We lost again. Disgusting. With that loss tonight, 9-2, we become the first team in the American League with two 12-game losing streaks. we suck. The last team that did that was the 96 Detroit Tigers. And then the Baltimore Orioles lost the last 14 games in May. I really don't know what to say. Matt Harvey started tonight. I thought he looked good. He hit a guy, then he retired the next 9 Rays with 5 Ks. We struck in the first. No, we struck first in the third inning. Jorge Mateo hit a double, and Cedric Mullins scored. But Harvey gave up a walk and then a single, and then Austin Meadows tripled, and Kevin Kiermaier hit a home run in the 5th, and I don't know what to say. Brandon Hyde took him out in the 5th. Paul Fry came in there and hit another home. He scored 5 runs. He scored 5 runs on Matt Harvey, took him out. Paul Fry came in there. Then, for some dumb, unknown reason, we gave up an inside the park home run to, we gave an inside the park home run to Brett Phillips, and that was it. Paul Fry has been just struggling, just terribly bad these last couple months. I think it's more of his command. He has a 9 ERA. Um, 15 walks. I looked it up. 18 and 2 batters, two-thirds of an inning, 15 hits, all singles. He's only allowed an extra base hit. Oh my Lord, this team is ass. I can't like. Ryan Mountcastle's on concussion protocol. Hunter Harvey's still not on he's supposed to be back, I think, sometime this week. He tweaked his hamstring. I think it's like a right lat strain, something like that. They made some moves in the minor league. I think Blaine Knight and Cody Silek was moved up to AAA. The number 7 prospect, Jordan Westberg, is going to Bowie. And then Colton Coles, our 5th overall picks, going to Delmarva. I just my team's ass. I can't. I really can't. Like that is some awful stomach. That was awful to stomach. It truly was. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm gonna stop talking about the Orioles because the next time if I continue talking about the Orioles, I'm gonna just break this laptop. No, I'm not gonna do that. Let's transition into some football. The Baltimore Ravens had their first preseason win against the New Orleans Saints. It was a great football game. Let me just give a shout out. I gotta say this about the Saints. Just like us, really, I respect Saint fans. Really chilled, laid back. It was a great game. I have the highlights here, so I'm going to play those, show you all those, what I took away from it, and then just give you my commentary on top of that. Okay. So just so you know, this is just the highlights. I do not own any rights to this video. This is just me just look at the highlights and just giving my commentary and feedback for the Ravens versus the Saints game Saturday night. So Trace McSorley started the game. No, not Chase McSorley. Taysom Hill, excuse me. Started the game. This is a great pass. I think that's Callaway. I want to say he actually might be Michael Thomas's. He's playing like potential number 2. I like the fact we were getting pressure on Taysom Hill early. Right here. This is a good play. Fumble. I think I can't remember that. I think that's Geno Stone. Bad play. I didn't like it. The play kind of the offensive line didn't really broke down, didn't really give good protection right here. Because this is play action going to the right, and the defense read it real quick. I would have liked the tight end to head block and then go out, but that was a good stop on 1st and 10. Make sure he did come back with a good run. Oh, he did. He got sacked right there. So that was our first possession that ended up with a punt. That was a bad throw. I don't know who Hill was throwing it to right there. I feel like I think it was a number 14. No, I'm sorry, right here. This was his target. That was just a bad throw. He just misread him. I like how the front four was getting to the quarterback real aggressively early. That's the key for Baltimore. Putting pressure on the quarterback and breaking the offense line. That was a good stop by Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen's going to have a breakout year, y'all. Trust me on that one. Good play. Good sack. Patrick Queen again. I'm telling you, LSU, baby. Now, I don't know. That was a crazy fumble. I was like, wow, he didn't hold on to the ball. Now, just a couple notes right here. Now, this offensive line, these guys I think they still kind of need to work some kinks out because I don't know what Tyree Phillips was doing on that. He tripped up his own offense, tripped his own quarterback. So that was kind of crazy. I'm sorry, that's Ben Powers. I tripped him up. My bad. He made that. That's Tucker. Good play. Good play. Good play. Nice hole. See, found the hole, went right into, and that was a good run right there. Jameis Winston didn't do too bad neither. Mm. Touchdown. Yeah, that was. I think that was a touchdown. They reviewed this too. Well, his foot. They tried to say his foot was out of bounds, but hit the thing, and that was a touchdown. So that was a good play. These are some good throws by McSorley. It was a good play. McSorley is going to be out for the rest of the preseason due to a back injury, which is kind of disappointing, honestly. This is Williams. Now he had a great game. This is a kicker that we got. I forgot his name. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Now we could do the same thing. We could trade him for a potential draft pick. So he had 2 field goals. And he did pretty well. Let me just say this now. Adafe Onwa. Now we drafted him based on potential because he didn't get a single sack at Penn State. He looked good. He looked good in his first preseason game. Good throw by Jameis. I don't know what kind of defense that Baltimore was in. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that one. That was just bad. That was not a good defensive play by Baltimore. On Anthony Everett. Good play by Humphrey. Humphrey right there could be Michael Thomas's number 2 wide receiver, in my opinion. He played really. He did pretty good in the preseason game. Now that was a very bad pass. He overthrew his intended target, and yeah, that just was not a smart. That was not a smart throw by McSorley. I think also too, this was we took him out at halftime and we brought in Tyler Huntley. Geno Stone right here. No, yeah, Geno Stone right here. Yeah. Now I will say this: I think he got greedy. He saw him because he did have him burnt, but this was great defense. Right there, great read. McSorley, I will say this: he did a really good job. Under 2 minutes, with under 20 seconds, we got down the field on this possession and got a good field goal. He did a really good job with clock management. This is really good, but this is really good by the offense. Really great clock management. Made the right plays, got out of bounds right here. 9. Got a bounce. Great play. I think he threw it to, I want to say it was Moore. They called the timeout, and it became 14-9 on this field goal right here. Yep. So that was great. That was great clock management under like a 2-minute warning. They did really good. Got down the field and really great offense, especially by Baltimore right there. I think that's Wallace. Okay, then this was Tyler Huntley. That's Josh Oliver. Josh Oliver could actually be like the missing link, in my opinion, for the offense. Okay, also, I just want to make this quick note. So the NFL wants to hammer down on taunting. We need to define what taunting is, because I think now we're getting a little too soft. Now, if you're like showboating or doing like something disrespectful towards your opponent, that's taunting. But if you're just showing off emotion, we gotta really we gotta define what taunting is. Now, I don't know what Josh Oliver was doing on that play. Uh, if you think about it, it was a quick pass. I think maybe he may have thrown a little too early, but you got to be ready for that. That's just me. See that? I don't know what kind of defense that was for them to get a big gain like that. See that? Hmm. 5 right there, another fumble. That was actually a good play. Dylan Hayes, all of them. See, Martin did with the gold chain. Now, right here, this was a good play by Tyler Huntley. Got out the pocket, got the first down. Really great play by Tyler Huntley right there. Kind of a little Lamarish. Wildland right here. Williams, this is a good run. Now this is the possession. We turned the ball over. Now you'll see it. Great catch by Oliver. Right here, this is where he goes to the right. Yep, this is where he fumbles. Okay, football 101. A quarterback, if you're going to run out the pocket and you know that there's pressure coming towards you, get out of bounds or dive. Take it plain and simple. Because this right here, he turned the ball over. You can't do that. That's football 101. Come on, man. You should. When Harbaugh gets mad, he gets mad. But Tyler Huntley made up for it. This was a really good run right here by McCrary. That was a really good run. That was a good hit. There was one play. I think it was Trace McSorley. It was out of bounds, but while Tyler, wow, my lord, I mean he's going to be a good player for us. He's going to be a good wide receiver. He had a nice catch, but it was out of bounds. And that was a good catch. I thought he overthrew it. And just for the record, I can't remember who where that number 81. We need to retire that jersey. That's Anquan Bolden's jersey. We need to retire that. And that right there was the lead. Right there, we went for two. Right here, the Saints got a penalty. They had an extra man on the field. And this was the interception possession right here. No. I don't know what he was doing on this possession. He should have just threw the ball out of bounds. Good sack by Jalen Ferguson. This is it right here. This is the possession where they threw the interception. Geno Stone had a really good game. And that was game. So I mean, Tyler Huntley had 129 yards, one rushing touchdown. There were just a couple questionable decisions he made, but he definitely cleared it up as a signal caller. Do you know anything about the New Orleans Saints? How they're looking in this year, in your opinion? I think they look great. I feel like they're moving the goal. I feel bad for Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston because unfortunately, one of them is going to replace Drew Brees, and I have all the confidence. I personally believe, in my opinion, that Jameis Winston is going to be the starter. My only issue with the Saints, I'm not liking that cap space situation. They're in the red, and they just gave Taysom Hill. Obviously it's non-guaranteed, but yes, the Saints always have a rocky start. The teams have to adjust to the new quarterback, although he's not really new. He's just new being the starting quarterback. Jameis Winston was a starting quarterback in Tampa Bay. Unfortunately, I feel like he got a bad rep. I think he proved to me the year he threw over 5,000 yards. Yes, he threw 30 picks, but he threw 33 touchdowns. People ignore that. People ignore that he threw 5,000 yards. The last quarterback who did that was the great Brett Favre. And, they gave up on him. And I feel like learning under Drew Brees, I think is a good thing for him. I think the Saints will be okay. My only issue is really, honestly, truthfully, is Michael Thomas. And I think Michael Thomas is kind of starting to open up a can of worms with his behavior. I don't know where that's coming from. With not getting, waiting 3 months to get surgery and basically coming out, talking about, they're trying to take his legacy away, different things like that. Talked about that not last episode, but the previous episode. But the offensive line still is a work in progress. Like I said, Ronnie Stanley, Kevin Zettler, and Ben Cleveland were not there. But, again, I saw the different combinations with Tyree Phillips, Ben Powers, Patrick McCarry. Definitely shuffled, but it can get better. Bradley Bowles did have an ankle injury, which that definitely tells me we need to get healthy on the offensive side, on the offensive line of the ball. Another thing I took away from it was Trace McSorley. Trace McSorley did have 111 yards and an interception, but I have to give him just a small pass because the offensive line did not do their job. And on top of him playing with back spasms, that just wasn't a recipe for disaster. Even though Ben Cleveland didn't play, Rashard Bateman didn't play because of injuries. Adafi Onwa and Dellen Hayes. My God. They had Onwa as a gunner on the punting team. And I mean, like, that was a really good play. He got down the field, I'd say, pretty damn fast. I was like, wow. What else am I looking at? Dalen Hayes had a sack on Jameis Winston. I saw his versatility. His versatility really good. Ben Mason made some good, impressive plays. Tylan Wallace did have, like I said, he had a quiet game. He did have the one catch, but it was out of bounds. Again, the linebackers looked great. On the first quarter, back-to-back plays. Patrick Queen had played really well. Malik Harrison forced a fumble. I'm really liking where this team is going, how it looked in the first half. Tyson Williams and Nate McCurry definitely played well, in my opinion. I kind of feel like Justice Hill is kind of the odd man out. Williams here in my notes, he had 10 carries for 41 yards, and McCurry had 5 carries for 31 yards. They definitely showed their ability as running backs. They did really well to me. Again, like Justice Hill, only 5 carries for 8 yards. That's disgusting. So that third job for the running backs definitely not looking good. Border Washington played really well. He did have 2 sacks. He definitely was around the ball. When I mean around the ball, he was definitely putting pressure on the offensive line. He did his job. So I believe it's going to be him and Justin Ellis definitely fighting for that final spot. And again, like I said, the linebackers. Jalen Ferguson also too had a great game as well. On the Saints side, I'm not really too worried about the quarterback. I think, in my personal opinion, it's going to be Jameis Winston. Everyone looked great. Now, Lavardis Murray didn't really have a great game. He ran into his blockers a couple of times and failed to pick up the blitz, which was really kind of odd to watch because I get he's on the wrong side of 30, but definitely didn't have a great night. And on top of that, he gave up the opening fumble on the opening drive. He's supposed to make $3 million this year. I looked it up. I want to look at his contract, and I feel like they're going to go probably cheaper. Tony Jones Jr. did have a good game. So, but, again, like I said, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara wasn't playing. Michael Thomas wasn't out there. Teron Armstead wasn't playing, and there was someone named Ryan Ramczyk. Jameis Winston didn't have that neither. So, all 3 quarterbacks had an interception, had a sack, and completed 60% of their passes. Now, Taysom Hill was the only one that did actually well. But, again, like I said, the New Orleans Saints got some things to work out. But I just feel bad for them because, unfortunately, there's this expectation that one of them, you're going to have to live up to Drew Brees and I just feel like that's just not fair. I feel like, they need to create an identity that's not Drew Brees. And Sean Payton is a great coach at doing that. Sean Payton has his expectations. but I feel like the sports media plays a role in putting and kind of putting these expectations on top of more expectations, and that's just not right. So those were definitely my takeaways from the Baltimore Ravens first preseason game. But the next preseason game we play is against, I want to say, don't tell me, it's the Panthers. We play them Saturday, and we play them in Carolina. That should be a good game. Real quick, I definitely just want to stick in football and talk about the Washington football team. We also made some moves there. So after the first preseason game against the against the New England Patriots, I was looking at a couple things. There were 3 plays that stuck out to me. All they have to do is win a chip, and they'll forget. Good point. That's a good point. The one of the game, I had to look back at the game, but the one person that stood out to me the most in that game against New England was Jared Patterson. I mean, he's undrafted. He rushed 10 times for 40 yards, had 4 catches for 30. But I kind of feel like after the New England took out their main starters, that's when his performance kind of was impressive. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think, played well again. 5 of 8. Now Sam, I have ever said. Wait, hold on, go back. Look at my notes. No, go back. Yeah, 5 of 8 for 55 yards. I mean, he did the completions to Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas were great plays, but I feel like, again, I think just give him a couple more possessions and he'll be okay. Now, this rookie offensive lineman, Sam Cosmi, he was drafted in the 2nd round, and I feel like he's going to be Trent Williams' replacement. But since they gotten Charles Leno, I think, and then cutting Morgan Moses, I think him playing at right tackle, I feel like he's actually doing a pretty good job. He did well. There was a couple possessions where he was working on the inside out, where he identified the threat, like the blitz coming from the inside, and then he really showed that. I liked it. We did make some cuts. I know one of them was LeVar Miller. Make sure I have that right. Okay. So, Washington football team, they cut Calvin Harmon, Chris Miller, and Lamar Miller. Honestly, if I had to say which one of those was kind of that stuck out the most, I would have to say Lamar Miller. I get it. 30, he's 30, former Texan. And I feel like he was never going to make the team because of injuries. Calvin Harmon, he had an ACL injury last year. And I feel like with his cut, I think that just really shows how much depth they have in Washington at wide receiver. Chris Miller was claimed off waivers from the Cardinals in May. So that's down to 87. So that was kind of interesting, but I would definitely say now with Harmon cut, that's DeAndre Carter, Anthony Gandy Golden, Steven Sims Jr., and Dax Milner. I say it's going to be DeAndre Carter getting that final spot. That's who I think is going to get the spot. That's who I think. And the Washington football team, they play those Bengals Friday evening. That should be a good game. I think Washington, we're going to win that game. We are. I see Milner. Did I say that right? Milner? Dax Milner. Oh, you think that's who's going to be the final wide receiver that's going to make the team? So now looking at their depth chart, there's so many to pick from. I don't know who would be the next one to cut. I don't know. It's really tough. Y'all let me know who y'all think. Who you think the next set of cuts are going to be for Washington? Baltimore hasn't made any, not to my knowledge at least. After this first preseason game. Nope. Just the Saints. Oh, wow. They cut Prince Akamara. Wow. Okay. That was interesting. Steve Sims or Humphries. My money is on Humphries. I agree with what you've been saying on Washington Football Weekly. Shout out to Abs from Washington Football Weekly and Sean Spencer. Wide receiver will probably be the last cuts. I think if I'm looking at this depth chart, I say it's going to be wide receiver. I say it's more going to be tight end. Because you all know who the three quarterbacks are going to be. Heineke, Kyle Allen, Fitzpatrick. Running back, too. I think that's what it's going to be. They just signed Humphries. I don't see it. I see one of them beating him out for that final wide receiver spot. Because you got Antonio Gibson, McKenzie, Barber, Williams, and then Jarrett Patterson. I think Jarrett Patterson's been playing. He's been playing well, and he played well in the first game. That's tough. I don't know. That's tough. That's tough. But the way they have the depth chart here, they have Adam Humphries number 1. I'll show you. Let me show y'all. Oh, I know he's close to Fitz. I know that's like they're like brothers. Like, because this is what's throwing me off. So you see right here, they have. That's how they have the depth chart. They have Humphries number 1, and then Sims, and then DeAndre Carter. That's kind of what's throwing me off. On the right side, and then McLaurin, and then the slot. I think Eric Flowers should be starting left guard. I like Sweltzer, but I think Eric Flowers, to me, in my opinion, he did well last season. I don't know. I think that fight for the running back spot is definitely going to be tough. And I don't see Dustin Hopkins getting cut. Ron Rivera gave him complete confidence. So Well, I'm sorry. I did want to. I wanted to clarify something. I said incorrectly. I said Brett Favre threw for 5,000 yards in the season. That's not true. I apologize for that. He's thrown 30 or more picks. Brett Favre was the most recent quarterback to do that. Drew Brees has thrown over 5,000 yards. Jameis Winston threw over 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 33 picks. And unfortunately, that wasn't enough for Tampa Bay. But I feel like he was already on his way out the door in Tampa. So, y'all let me know for Washington, who's the AGG. I know that's not the final depth chart, but that's just what they have. Let me transition. I'm going to transition to the NFL, around the NFL news. The Atlanta Falcons became the first team in the NFL to become 100% vaccinated against COVID. Again, everybody has their opinions about COVID and vaccines. Again, everybody's choice. I just continue to encourage everybody just educate yourselves on the vaccines. If you're uncomfortable about it, talk to your doctor. There's information out there to learn about these vaccines. Justin Fields had a great game. He's shown me that he's ready. He's ready to start. 14 to 20, 142 yards against the Dolphins, and he also did show off a couple run plays. Gandy Golden, thank you. That's what I'm like. AGG. He played really well. Trey Lance did really. I mean, 5 of 14 for 124 yards. I mean, yes, the completion percentage is low, but the pass for catching for Fort and was not bad. I do like the fact that I think just give it time, you will see him become the starter for the San Francisco 49ers. I kind of see it probably sometime in the middle of the season. But both him and Justin Fields, Andy Dalton and Jimmy Garoppolo are going to be holding clipboards by the middle of the season. Trevor Lawrence did really well. I feel like they kind of ganged up on him. I was watching First Take this morning. I don't know what's up with Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman loves to pick both of them. Him and Steve, they love to just pick and choose their agendas. I think he had. Like Stephen A had Lamar Jackson. No, he did it from 5 to 1, not 1 to 5. Like Stephen A had like Lamar Jackson and most players under pressure, number 5, and then like Max, I think, had like Trevor Lawrence at number 1, which was kind of weird. I will say all this too. Tim Tebow kind of got some flack for, well, not kind of. He is getting flack for his. His performance. Let me show y'all. As a blocking tight end, I thought they were bad. Keep in mind, guys, he has not played football since 2012. So I mean, he was in the minor league system with the New York Mets. So this is Tim Tebow right here.
The worst.
Like, what is that? What is that? That's not even a block. Like, I mean, he didn't even attempt to like even go at. He just used his shoulder. There's another block. That was another horrible block. Then it was a passing play where he ended up in the same. Lawrence won the Heisman. He can't miss, and he was a can't miss pick. Of course, I agree with that. They expect perfection. Heisman winners will always held to a higher standard, even though it's just preseason. Oh, of course, I understand it's preseason, but I'm just saying that's just what media does. They want to put this immense pressure on him. Diamond Russell be on Humphries, and they won't need him anymore. Okay, but y'all let me know how y'all feel about those blocks. I mean, again, I just look at it like this. He's never played the tight end position. He's transitioning. I mean, I feel like he'll improve, but that didn't look good. And unfortunately, like people were gonna zero in on this because, like, we all know his thing with Tim Tebow when he was a starting quarterback at Denver. 8-8. Which everyone seems to get selective amnesia about, mediocre, 500. I understand he beat Pittsburgh in the wild card game, but then got embarrassed by the New England Patriots. I just felt like I had a feeling that they were going to get on Tim Tebow for sure about it. There's nothing about that. I was watching the Bills preseason game. Gotta look out for this guy named Devin Singletary. Zach Moss is out because he has a hamstring injury. But Devin Singletary did really good. He had nine catches for 48 yards and a short receiving touchdown. I like him. I'm sorry, four carries. Excuse me. I don't know why I said touches. 4 carries for nine carries for 48 yards and a short touchdown and a touchdown. That's another thing I noticed. I talked about Marquez Callaway. Michael Thomas is not going to be there. And then Traquan Smith's going to be out as well. So definitely look out for him. I'll show you my notes. The backup for Derek Henry for the Titans. What is his name? Evans. He got hurt. He grabbed his knee, so it's in his day-to-day. Xavier Jones from the Chargers. There's some great takeaways from this first week of the preseason. I think guys are making a name for themselves for sure. And I've been enjoying the preseason games as much as it can. It's been kind of hard to keep up with each game, but they've been fun to watch. So y'all let me know your thoughts on y'all's teams and what do you think of them so far in the first week of the preseason, and what do you think is going to happen week 2? Who do you see as future cuts going into week 2? Who do you think? What do you think your team is going to look? What do you think the outlook for your team and for the preseason is going to be? So we're going to step away from football. We're going to transition into basketball. The Washington Wizards finished the summer league 1-3. We lost to the Indiana Pacers 74-65. I just feel like it's been kind of hard to watch summer league a little bit because between watching basketball preseason and the Olympics and the WNBA is not back, so kind of hard to commit to watching some time for the summer league. But I did get a chance to watch the Pacers game. Again, they don't look really great as a team unit. My notes here, they shot 34% from the field. They committed 20 turnovers, only had 16 assists. Isaiah Todd, who's our second round draft pick, had 11 points, led the team. No other player against the Pacers had double digits and figures. Corey Casper, our first round pick, was 1 of 7, only had 3 points in 21 minutes. The Pacers, they were up by 25. That was the biggest lead of the game. So we did make a late run there, but it was all over. So summer league's over for Washington. I can't really see what this Wizard team will look like going forward. I feel like Tommy Shepard has done a great job kind of reconstructing this team. and transitioning it from an in the middle of the road team to a building team. I feel like that's something Ernie Grunfeld could never have done with the Washington when he was GM with the Wizards. Tommy Shepard needs to give credits. We need to give Tommy Shepard credit where his credit is due, from getting Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, KCP, Contavious Caldwell Pope, and then not even risking the future. The future risking draft picks. Didn't give up a whole lot of draft picks for much. He didn't have to mortgage the future. I still personally think Bertans should be traded, in my opinion. I feel like you can get something for him. I'm looking at a guy like Lauri Markkanen. I think he would be a better fit for me, in my personal opinion, for Washington. But that's just my opinion. Some other things around the NBA. So the Los Angeles Clippers, they traded Patrick Beverley, Rajon Rondo, and Daniel Autry for Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe's going back to Los Angeles. So I looked this up. The Los Angeles Clippers were actually in the luxury tax. They were going to be 30. They saved about $30 million in luxury tax, and they created $8.3 million in traded player X exceptions that they'll have a year to use. So if anyone goes down, they can use that money to sign somebody if needed. If someone goes down. Eric Bledsoe was drafted by the Clippers in 2010. His first 3 years was with them. I think he'll play a significant role. I feel like he's going to have a quiet. He's going to go off. I believe he's going to have a quiet year. He's going to go off this year, in my personal opinion. Now, with the Grizzlies, I think this is a win-win for both sides because Eric Bledsoe is guaranteed $3.9 of his $19 million. This is his last year coming up this year. So sorry about that. Accidentally clicked the button. So then they have 16 guaranteed contracts. I feel like Rajon Rondo won't be on this team. I would like to see actually Rondo play for the Wizards. I think he would definitely be a great mentor for the young guys. Patrick Beverley, I think, would be a great fit for the Grizzlies. Again, grit and grind, and he is that's a guy I want on my team. Besides the behavior that he can sometimes exhibit, I still would want him on my team. But unfortunately, it's kind of weird because now that this team looks different. Patrick Beverley, I feel like he was a popular player with the Clippers. Yes, he did lose his starting job to Reggie Jackson in the Western Conference Finals, but they both were on the last year of their deals. Patrick Beverley was scheduled to make $14 million this year, and Rondo $7.5. And why not? Before Eric Bledsoe was traded, Eric Bledsoe played in 81 games. He started 25 as a rookie. Bledsoe was traded to Phoenix. He averaged 21, 6 in 2016, 2017. He was traded to Milwaukee, then traded to New Orleans for Drew Holiday. So I feel like this is going to be a good win-win for the Los Angeles Clippers. So I do expect him to have a good year. I do expect that. I'm going to try to stick with basketball. We'll talk about the WNBA. Yes, the WNBA is back, ladies and gentlemen, after 30 days. I cannot believe that. Oh, my gosh. I was so many. First and foremost, congratulations to those that participated in the Olympics. I cannot imagine having to come back, short rest. I know physically, mentally just worn out. jet lag is real, people. It is real, ladies and gentlemen. So congratulations to, Team USA women's basketball team for doing that thing. Real quick, I got to give congratulations to Breonna Stewart and her wife. They are now moms via a surrogate. The daughter's name is Ruby. I'll show the picture so y'all can see it. That is her via surrogate. Ruby Mae Stewart Exgar. So congratulations to those two. Congratulations. Couple of things I took away from. I saw the Seattle Storm versus Chicago Sky game. That was actually a really good game. They went into overtime. There was a couple questionable decision-making plays, but the Chicago Sky pulled the win in overtime. I'm still really not sold on Chicago as far as the playoffs. I know, Candace Parker going back home. There's expectations. She went down with the ankle injury. They lost 7 in a row when she went down, and since then they've been trying. They've been playing better, and they're actually a potential 4th, 5th seed. Now, if you push me, I think they'll be a number 2, number 3 seed, but I see them right there. Even though John Paul Jones had a bad game, they will have a really great game against the Seattle from the Commissioner's Cup. Against the Dallas Wings, she played really well. She had 19 points, 14 rebounds, and embarrassed the Dallas Wings by 21. They're now 15-6 on the year. And on top of that, Alyssa Thomas is not playing. I just saw the highlights for the Mercury versus the Atlanta Dream. The Atlanta Dream actually, for the most part, until the 4th quarter, stayed there with the Mercury. But I mean, the big three: Diana Taurasi, Skylar Diggins, Brittany Griner, all had great games. The Minnesota Lynx are no joke. And they started off the year 0-4, and they embarrassed the New York Liberty. Sylvia Follows had 20 points, 11 rebounds. Kayla McBride, I think is actually playing a really good. It's fitting just well in her new role after leaving Las Vegas. Nafisa Collier is having a good year. The Lynx are 13-3 since their 0-4 start. What else? My notes here. In transition, I cannot believe this is going to happen. I'm going to talk about it. The Washington Mystics blew a 21-point lead. We lost to the Las Vegas Aces. Final score, 84-83. Let me say this. If your name is not Ariel Atkins, okay, you can step out the room. Let me say this. That was some of the most horrible defense I ever saw. There's no excuse for it. There's just none. No excuse. We're up 21 on the road. The Las Vegas Aces had nothing. We stopped playing defense. That can't happen. Let me just say this alone. In the 4th quarter, my notes here, right? We were outscored 29-14. We shot 37.5% from the field and 22% from the three. After in the first half, it looked fantastic. Embarrassing. Absolutely pathetic. That can't happen. They used the 20-5 run in the 3rd quarter to cut the lead to 4. and then 11-2 run to win the game. And then attempt to win the game, they took Tina Charles out the play, and Ariel Atkins took a shot 27 feet behind the arc and missed. Now I'm looking at the box score. Yeah, Maisha Hines-Allen, 16. Tina Charles had 20. Ariel Atkins had 20. But that was horrible. Horrendously bad. Disgusting. Absolutely pathetic. And oh, by the way, yes, with 12 seconds left in the game, Maisha Hines-Allen, that was a travel. I don't care what people, she traveled. Was it legal hop step? In some people's eyes, yes, but to me, it looked like a travel. It was 50-35 in the first half, going into halftime. Liz Cambage was in foul trouble. We kept Liz Cambage, Asia Wilson, and Jackie Young in check. They shot 44% in the first half. It looked like watching the Buffalo Bills come back against the Houston Oilers. That's what it looked like. Absolutely pathetic. And without Della Dawn, come on, this team that I know, this Mystic team, we're better than that. We are truly better than that. To blow a 21-point lead on the road is disgusting. We have to play the Aces again tomorrow. Are you serious? Oh my God, we really got to play the Aces again tomorrow? And they're gonna be on CBS. I'm watching this game. I'm watching it because they better come out. They better come out with some fire because that was pathetic and that was disgusting. I'm disappointed. I really am. And I have this team when Della Dawn comes back, when Emma Meesman comes back, to get it. I still see the Washington Mystics get into the playoffs, but that was just embarrassing to watch a 21-point lead going like that. If you're not Ariel Atkins, you're fine. Ariel, that was awful. It was awful. My last topic, and I'm going to end that podcast for the night. I've talked about this a few times. Let me just say this. The last 14 months, we haven't been able to go to a sporting event. We haven't been able to do a lot of things because of COVID. And I just feel like when you go to these things, when you go to these events, I feel like it's a privilege to go. You're there to have a good time and watch these guys perform, because I couldn't imagine playing in a stadium with no fans. And I couldn't imagine just not going and saying, wow, I'm not going to see the Oklahoma City Thunder play. I'm not going to see the Lakers play. I'm not going to see the Ravens play or New York Giants play. I'm not going to see that. And the fact that we have this behavior, again, we could talk about alcohol and all those things like that, but I just think it just takes away from the game. Like the clip you're about to see, this is the Chargers versus the Rams, and unfortunately, yes, drunk fans got into it. But I'm going to show you something that really was kind of interesting.
It's the craziest preseason from our fans to look forward to. Rams fans and be preseason fans.
Now, this woman right here, I want you to pay close attention to her. See what she did? She threw that so then provoked him. Look what she's doing right there. She's see what she's doing? She played a part in this. Now they all got ejected, but I'm just saying, like, these kind of things, ladies and gentlemen, they're taken away from the game. Like there was an example, I think it was at the French Open, where it was a tennis fan, a young tennis fan, and a mother and fathers at the event, and the woman slapped the guy in the face, and then the dad came over and choked him. All three were escorted from the thing, but the event had to be stopped. I just feel like these kind of things, it's disgusting, and it just takes away from me enjoying the game, because like if I go to a football game or a basketball game or a baseball game, we talked about this. What do you gain from it? You paid money to go to these games just to cut up and act like a fool. That's beyond crazy to me. It's beyond crazy. But I mean, like again, it's been great to see fans back in the crowds. You know, unfortunately, like I said, it's a bad look, especially when we haven't been able to go to these events in over a year. So, with that being said, that's going to end episode 11. What, episode 11? Episode 10. I've lost count now. Episode 10, excuse me. That's going to episode 10. So, if you like the video and like the topics, y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you feel about them. You want to see more like this, give me suggestions, you can leave them in the comments down below. In episode 11, you'll probably see that sometime Wednesday, Thursday at the most. As far as for Washington and Baltimore, those episodes will be separate. That'll be a separate episode for the weekend. But episode 10 will go live. I will timestamp this episode once I have ended the live. I'll timestamp it because everyone's been kind of giving me saying, well, if you timestamp the episode, like topics you're going into, you might get people more interest in listening. So I respect that. But with that being said, I want to kind of just revisit the PJ Washington, Brittany Renner thing. I don't like it. And I just feel like, I think it's disgusting that she did that and she got what she wanted. And I don't see them getting back together. It just makes no sense. The women like her really, really disgust me because it just, their past, of their lifestyles, and yet I don't understand. Why do we continue to deal with toxicity? Why? And of their past. They're not going to change. Why stay with them? Why even deal with them? She's passed herself around like a blunt. Just saying, listen, the warning signs were there. And he should have known better. But, with that being said, I hope y'all have a great week. Stay safe. Y'all will see a video from me Wednesday at the most. So, with that being said, I'm out. Peace. Stay up.
First of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and tell me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.